Inbal Fershtat with us, and she is the founder of Plentiful Kitchen, which is a meal delivery service in the San Francisco Bay Area. And she delivers organic, gluten-free, dairy-free meals to people in her community. Welcome, Inbal. We're so happy to have you.
Hi, thank you. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all virtually.
Well, it's so great to have you here. And I think meal delivery is something a lot of our students are very interested in doing, right? I know that some people want to be restaurant chefs, some people, but they don't want to work in a restaurant. So this is another option for a career path for people so that they can really find a way, like I said, to feed people in their community. Can you tell us, Symbol, like what was your, after you graduated from the chef program, like why did you choose this career path for yourself? How did that become to be?
For me personally, it started because I went through a wellness journey, where a healing journey, where in 2005 it was, I was very sick, and for a while I couldn't get any relief at the doctor's office. And unfortunately, I had unfortunate and fortunate because it was a blessing in disguise. And I started my path of learning about food and how food is medicine, how food affects my feeling and my everyday um, everyday mood. And I decided to go to school for that. And I learned about nutrition and I learned about herbs. And I was really immersed into it. I loved it. I changed my diet and I was able to heal my hypothyroid with herbs and food. And through that journey, it took me about, I want to say, from 2005 until 2017, that I finally made a choice to go to Bauman, um, because I healed myself after about 4 or 5 years of following different diets, trying different ways of eating and different healing modalities. Um, and finally, I was able to heal my hypothyroid, and I was on the right track of feeling good again. I had my energy back again, something that I really yearned for all this time because I knew that there was a way to reverse it. I knew there was a way to feel better again, even though the doctors were really not giving me any type of relief. I had to just push it through because I realized I am the only one who's going to be able to help myself. And I did it. And so in 2015, I had my daughter and I was too busy with life. And as soon as she turned a year old, yeah, so I started Bauman, I think in 2016, at the end of 2016. She was a year old, and I was really excited about this school because I realized it's going to tie everything together for me. I didn't really want to sit in an office and be a nutritionist or, sort of tell people what they need to take, what supplements um, they'll have to take or do or what food. I just realized that if I cook the food for them, I'll see the most results. And I already had a lot of knowledge before, but I realized that I needed a certificate. I needed some sort of credentials, and Bauman was just the right thing for me to do. It was the next step, the natural next process, the next step for me for my journey.
And
And
that's really something that's really so interesting. What you're saying is like you see the most results with cooking the food for them,
right.
right? Because is that's a stumbling block for people. So is that something that you really identified like in your friends and your family in yourself was like that the hardest thing was
I
actually the cooking?
I think I just really it was clear to me. Um, I understood the connection and the direct link between what we eat and how we feel. And I also understood that it's most people really don't know how to cook, or they don't have the time, or they don't have the desire to cook. a lot of people really want to eat well, but they don't know where to start. And I mean, all of us live a very busy life, and it's a lot of effort. Cooking is, as we all know, takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy. It takes time. And so I just realized that if I if I cook the food, I'll see results better. I'll see people feeling better, and that would be a better confirmation for me. That's what I thought. I didn't know anything about it because I just started my journey. I've been cooking all my life, but I never cooked for other people. So that was sort of baby steps. And so when I graduated Bowman, I had my first private chef client, and I started as a private chef, as a personal chef. I started cooking at people's homes. They were inviting me to go to their homes, and I would cook a week worth of food. And I just knew that my intention is to continue cooking the way I eat, because I knew that by following a gluten-free, dairy-free diet, using organic and the highest quality ingredients, I was able to heal myself. And so um, I worked only with people who really had this understanding, because I couldn't really cook something with gluten, or I couldn't cook something with dairy. I mean, I can physically do that, but I don't believe in this approach, because I realized that if this what healed me, and I've done a lot of research about it, I know it's just the optimal way of eating. And so naturally, clients were attracted to me, families, mostly families, you mom who are postpartums, who new moms, busy professionals, people who really made the connection between how we eat and how we feel, or what we eat and how we feel.
And were you just getting word of mouth, like family to family, or were you advertising? What were you
I
doing?
wasn't advertising at all for the first 7 years. So I've been in business for 7 years. The first 5 years, I want to say, yeah, the first 5 years. So I started by going to people's home the first 2 to 3 years, and then I started gaining more clients, more traction. It was word of mouth. People found me through different places. I don't know how exactly, but it was mostly word of mouth. I think my first client actually came through Bauman. So they contacted me. I worked for them. Then I had 2, 3 families. And then I realized that if I continue going to people's homes and cook at their houses, I probably won't be able to grow. And I knew that I wanted to grow.
Right.
So I had to rethink about my business model. And then I decided to cook from my house, from my home, from my own kitchen, because this way I was able to have not 3 clients. I was able to have 5 clients, 6 clients in the same week. And just rearranging everything. And I also felt more comfortable to cook in my own house, because I had everything, all the tools necessary. I know my kitchen. It was just the right thing to do.
Were you making the same meals for all of these clients, or were you doing custom meals?
I was doing custom meals, and I had a few different personal chef clients. But my goal was to have a sort of like one menu where I can adjust, the different dietary restrictions and preferences, in accordance to my clients' needs. And at one point, it started to take a toll on me, because, to be honest, because it was just too much. I was doing everything also. So I was working nonstop, 7 days a week. I was the one who's creating the menus, going shopping, coming home, cooking, cleaning, delivering the food, doing all the marketing, and then just continuing all over again. So every week it was just that. And I was obviously grateful for what I had, because this is what I wanted. And then COVID hit. That was in 2001. And suddenly I had way more clients that I could. And so everybody wanted to everybody was home and everybody wanted to eat healthy food and they all wanted the food to be delivered. And then I realized that a lot of my clients lost their jobs, but they really wanted to continue ordering food for me. And so I had to go back to the table, back to my notebook, and rethink again. And so I decided to change my business model once again. And so instead of offering just personal chef, I started offering meal delivery service. This way, I was able to cater to more people, not just those with, lots of money. My
Right.
intention, yeah, my intention was to really help more people to spread the knowledge about food as medicine and also to help more people um, and not only, concentrate and focus on one group of people. And so I realized that I had to change my business model again and and offer and expand. It wasn't so much changing my business model, it was more like expanding it.
And how is that? Like, are you a flexible person? Like, was this easy for you to just say, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna make this change," or was it nerve-wracking? Like, what was your emotional state as you're making these changes?
So I believe that in order for me to grow my business, and I can only talk about my business from my standpoint because that's the first business I've created. I don't have any other experience. I've never worked at, or owned different businesses. But what feels right to me is, and what I know to be true is, if I listen to my clients, I'll have more chances of growing. So I need to learn what my clients are doing, what they want, what they don't want. And that's why I'm always with good communication with my clients. I'm always asking them for feedback because I know that from my end, we do the best we can to deliver the best product we can create. But I really don't know how it's accepted on the other side. Sometimes it's
So what are some of the feedback that you've gotten from your meals and like how did you adapt? I'm very curious, like what people were saying. Oh, Inbal froze. Maybe she will come back. Let's just give her a second for the internet to catch up.
I love the fact that her business model actually changed like 3 times. That's a big lesson in and of itself.
Absolutely, right? How do yeah, you're going, like she said, she's going back to the table
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and figuring that out. Let me see if I can email her.
Because she said earlier too, is that she just was following her passion, which is amazing.
Here she comes.
hello?
Hello, I think we lost you for a second.
Yeah, my computer crashed.
These are the challenges of us being in the tech world. It's okay.
I thought it was out of battery, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" But no, it's not. It's not out of battery. Anyways, so you were asking if I was flexible about the change, right?
Um, well, I was asking what some of the client feedback you got was, like what were people saying, and then what did you do to adjust?
Yeah. So, like I said, a few of my clients lost their jobs, but they made it clear that they want to continue working with me. They just asked me if I could figure out a better way to make it cheaper.
Hmm.
That's what it was. And so as a personal chef, obviously you charge more money because you're doing something different. You're, creating a specific menu to a specific client and taking into consideration all of their dietary restrictions and preferences. So obviously it costs more money. It takes more time. It costs more money. And And so when this particular client told me about, expressed her feeling, I realized that I'll have to figure out a way to make that change, because I also realized that I don't want to just cater to rich people. No offense to anyone, yes?
Yeah.
But I realized that my intention as a chef, as a natural, holistic chef, is to share the knowledge about food as medicine and help people really understand that they can, they have the responsibility and the power to, heal themselves. And so it doesn't have to be out of reach. And so it aligned really well with my mission and my vision for the company, because it allowed me to rethink and just go back to the drawing board again and create something that can be more approachable, something that can be affordable to more people. And so that's how I came up with a meal delivery service.
Well, and so from the outside, like you're saying, I'm trying to make it cheaper, but like your website is gorgeous. To me, it looks like you must have had to invest more money to make it cheaper for your client. Or is that just, am I right about that, or am I wrong about that? Because it feels like, wow, you had to put all this infrastructure in place. So that was money on your side to make it cheaper for them, right?
Yes and no, because everything was a journey. So I started doing my own website. I did my own website with the help of a friend. And I had a store online, and it was really uncomfortable, to be honest. It didn't work well, but I really pushed it. I did the best I could with what I had. And that's how I started. I started with a simple website. Everything you see today is the foundation is what I created. But then throughout the years, I reinvented myself again, and as I was able to save more money, I was able to invest in a business as well. It's really important to understand that to make money, you need to invest money. But I never took a loan. For that matter, I didn't go beyond what I could reach, what I had. Meaning, I started with with what I had. So I created a website. I created a website from scratch on WordPress with the help of a friend. So I just, put up a post on I think it was Facebook, asking friends, and I'm also always open to trading. So if you have a friend, for example, and this is for all the grads, if you have a friend who you can trade some skill with. I mean, I was always doing the food and delivering food, and that friend in particular helped me with the website.
Right. People always need food, right?
Yeah.
And so we have a skill that is definitely, people need it, want it.
Yeah. And not only that, it's a great skill, and it's international, meaning you could go anywhere in the world and you can cook. And whether you're cooking to, in a retreat, or private chef, or a chef, or a restaurant, I mean, really the options are endless. You can do many different things. Yeah. So
Yeah. So we were talking about how you kind of bootstrapped your website. You're trading with your friends using their skills. You're feeding them. They're helping you. Are you taking all of these wonderful photographs yourself? Is that a skill you were trading for? Like, what were you doing for that?
yeah, so I bought a camera. I bought a really good camera. That's where I invested a lot of money. Sorry, my dog is going.
Okay.
I bought a good camera. Well, it wasn't at the beginning. I mean, at the beginning, I was using my phone, and I was, just using everything I had. I mean, really, I didn't invest any money. I made money. I saved this money, and slowly by slowly, When I made my new decision to change my business model from a personal chef and to add to it a meal delivery service, I was working a lot. Like throughout COVID, I was working all the time. I had to really pay for all my family because my husband didn't work. My husband lost his job, and I basically we had the only income coming through Plentiful Kitchen. And so my husband decided to help me out in the business because he thought that this is the natural way, this is the right thing to do. And together, so he started helping me doing the shopping. He was helping me delivering the food. And so he was my first helper, really. He was many times going to the grocery store when I was out of something while in the midst of cooking, and just really helping me. So he was my first helper, and Plentiful Kitchen really took off at that moment. So from 5 clients, I suddenly had almost 15 clients, and so slowly I started hiring people. Slowly I started hiring a dishwasher, someone who came to my house and did the dishes, and I still continued doing everything else myself until one point it came up at a time where I maxed out my kitchen. I had 2 fridges, 2 up here, 1 downstairs. So actually there were 3 fridges. I had no more space.
Yeah.
It was just like almost really difficult to do it. And I realized at that point that I had to go out there and look for a kitchen. And that was a nerve-wracking point.
Yes.
That was a nerve-wracking point for me. However, if I look back at it and I'm re-evaluating my journey, I think that I would have, if I started in a commercial kitchen ahead of time or beforehand, it would be a lot better for me because it's a whole different animal. It's a whole different world when you run a commercial kitchen, when you have to pay for it, when you have to hire people. It's a whole different world. Then everything changed at that moment. So it's a tricky thing because we really are not legally, we cannot really cook in our homes in California.
I was going to ask you about the Mykonos license. Did you do that?
When I started, it was okay. There was, I think they started doing the cottage law or something, and around that time, and I was really trying to figure out a way to make it work because I wanted my business to be legal. It was the one thing that was really important to me is to do my business right. All the paperwork, the taxes, accounting, everything has to be right. If I wanted my business to be legit, I had to really consider it and do everything I can to make it legal, to make it right. And so when I started having more clients, and then the cottage law came, and I think I was a little bit nervous because suddenly I was cooking for more people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was maxing out my house and my kitchen, and my home was starting to smell like grease.
I can imagine if you're cooking. It sounds like you're cooking like at least 16 hours a day. The way,
It was cooking. So I don't do it full time. I cook part of the week, and then the other part I leave for marketing, for communication with clients, for building and growing. So the one thing I realized throughout this 5 years that I was cooking at home, and I was just working 7 days a week nonstop, I realized that I have to figure out a way to balance my work-life situation because I was overworked. and I was tired and exhausted. And at the same time, I felt like I am not in a position to reach more clients. How can I do the marketing? When do I have time for all of that? And so I decided that I have to figure out a way to schedule everything in a way that I have enough time for that and enough time for that. And so it's just like a lot that you have to think about.
Sure.
when
Yeah, it's you're doing everything, right? You're the CEO of your company, and you're doing the strategy, you're doing the outreach for the marketing, and then you're also doing the work of
Yeah,
the cooking itself, right?
exactly.
So how did you what did you do? Like what you're saying I came to this moment, I knew I needed to change. So what was your solution?
So my next step was to rent a commercial kitchen. So I rented the Bauman kitchen. And I don't know if any of you have been there before, but it's really a state-of-the-art kitchen. I think they invested a lot of money, almost $1 million in that kitchen. And that actually that was the kitchen I learned cooking when I went to Bauman. So it was very familiar to me, and I was in close communication with the owner, and it was a wonderful start. It was a great start for me. And then I realized that I needed to hire people, because suddenly I'm in this kitchen, suddenly I have more clients and so much more work, and I had to hire people. So it's like, how do I get those people?
Yes, how do you get those people? How do you do it?
So, it was really, really hard work at the beginning. I had my mom help me. My husband was helping. It was like turning into this family business, really. And I was looking for people. I just needed like a dishwasher, someone who could really help me hold this. And Well, the first people that I found was actually at the parking lot at Bauman College, just there at the parking lot there. They were a couple, and I saw them moving a vacuum cleaner, and I realized they're maybe doing some cleaning
Mm-hmm.
in the other office, and I approached them. And I speak Spanish as well, so I approached them and I asked them. I said that I'm looking for someone if they're looking for a job, and they did, and they worked with me for a good year, I want to say. But they were my first help, and that's how I at that moment, before I found them, I thought that I am kind of losing it,
Yeah.
because I was, like I said, overworked, overwhelmed, didn't know what and how. I just trusted. That's the only thing I could do. I just trusted in my idea, in my vision, in my dream. I'm also this kind of person who's um, doing a lot of vision boards. So I'm very connected to this idea that I create my reality. And so my bedroom is full of vision boards. And I was really focusing on my intention, my dream. I knew that the next step would be to grow the business to have, let's say, I don't know, 20 clients.
Right. So you're
Yeah.
manifesting
I am
these,
manifesting.
yeah.
Right. And I'm like this kind of person. I'm talking to the universe, and I'm asking the universe, help me, send me the right people. And universe did send me the right people. So I found those two in a
That's
parking lot.
that's incredible though, I mean, because you have to have that trust, and you're
Yeah,
looking, right? As you're like saying, this is what I need, and then you look, and then you can kind of find it a little bit more easier once you figure out what the need is,
right.
right? And that's what I'm hearing in your story, like that you kind of were like you were saying to yourself, okay, what do I need to do now? You weren't just blindly doing things. You were kind of taking that pause, and you're saying, oh, this this is not working anymore. I need something different. And you're taking a moment to figure out what that thing was, and it was kind of coming to you.
Yes. So I want to say that one of the most important things I think as a business owner is to really sit down and really understand where and how, like, what do I want to create? It doesn't matter. It's not about the how, it's about the what. So I'm putting my goals like 5, 10 years. And what do I want to create? I want to create a business that is very successful. I want to have this amount of clients. I want to have, I want to have I want to have a strong team. I want to have this amount of money that I'm making. And I don't doubt myself. I'm just putting it on a paper. I'm just spewing whatever I want to have, whatever I envision for myself. And I just put it on there. I write it down. And of course, it has to feel good. So if it doesn't feel good, I'll have to adjust it. But I have to also consider it, consider how I feel about it. And so I put it down. I feel good about it. And then I'll put it on my wall next to my bed. And I'll look at it every day when I wake up and when I go to bed. And I can tell you this about all my other things, vision boards thingy, that I have on my vision boards. Everything that I put on the vision boards since I've started doing it, I want to say 15 years ago, everything I put up there has been manifested.
That's
And
incredible. Congratulations, like on that. Like
thank you.
That's you looking at that. That's wonderful.
Thank you. And I also want to say that it's not because I have special powers. We all have these special powers. We all are creators, whether we understand it or not, whether we create by default or whether we deliberately create.
Mm.
And so
I love that. I want to pause and like have you say that again.
So
we are all creators.
We're all creator, whether by default or whether we do it deliberately. And so if if you don't believe in any of it, you still create your reality, but it would be by default, meaning by the way you think, the stories you tell yourself, and by the way you talk about your current situation. And if all what there is what is, and you talk about what is, you'll continue creating what is. So that's where I think I can bring I can shine a little light on this subject, because it's not about what is, it's about what you want first. Come into clarity, a clear understanding what exactly you want. Don't think about the how, don't think about the if and when. You don't need to bother yourself with all the details. You just want to think about what you want to do and how it's going to, and why you want to do it, how it's going to make you feel. And that's it. And then just put it on a wall next to you or not. It worked for me. It works for me all the time.
So that's so great. So I want to maybe bring us to where you are now. And then I want to open it up for questions, because I know that there must be tons of questions. So you said you hired the first 2 people to help as dishwashers. And then, so right now, how many people do you have on staff?
Right now, I have 4 people working for me in the kitchen. So recently I hired a chef. I have a sous chef, and I have a prep team of 2 people. Plus I have 3 drivers. So after hiring the dishwashers and the prep and all that, the one thing that I knew that is going to have to happen is to at one point be in the place where I can hire a chef, so I can move from behind the stove to the CEO position.
Yeah.
And it's not, and it could be that it's not everyone's path or desire to be there. I
Right.
just knew that for me, I needed to move beyond the stove, behind the stove. I needed to move from behind the stove to the CEO position, because I realized that I want to take my business to the next level. And in order for me to do that, I cannot be doing the grind of the everyday grind of the cooking, and just, I have to take one step back. And so that's what I've managed to do in the last few months, which is a huge progress for me. And, I'm now learning um, I'm now learning my new role, because it's not easy to be the chef that is taking care of everything, and suddenly you're not the chef anymore. Suddenly you have to really, most of my work is dealing with my team, and
Yeah.
people, and figuring out. And so that's just a whole different level right now of.
And were you as a chef able to give away the menu planning as well? Does the chef do the menu planning, or is that still, you're still the?
So I still have the handle on it. I do the menu planning, creating the recipes. But right now I have more people to work with, which is incredible. So I have a really good chef. He and my sous chef are coming up all together. We're coming up with new ideas. It's just a whole different ballgame, which is exciting. And I want to just give that, inspire. I hope that this is inspiring to some of you, if you are taking that route, because it's just more exciting to work with other people than to work with on your own. And for the longest time, I really enjoyed working by myself. But then I realized I'm lacking experience. I'm lacking feedback. I want to, I just do what I do because this is what I know. And I also wasn't interested in working in restaurants. So it's not my cup of tea, for that matter. And so I didn't get much feedback or much experience. And so it's just a wonderful thing to be able to work with the team. And so if you are thinking about that route, just see yourself already there. For me, it was one step at a time. It wasn't like when I started my business, I didn't think about, oh, I'm going to hire a chef. I thought about, oh, I'm going to hire a dishwasher first.
Right.
And continue doing the work. And it's hard work. So, but when you're driven, and when you have a mission, your mission is to continue doing what you love to do, and it's cooking, then everything else will fall into place.
Right. Well, and as the CEO, you know what it is to do every role in
Yes.
your company. And that's invaluable to have gone through that journey,
Yes.
right? And not to just kind of skip to where you are now. You wouldn't
Yes.
be the leader you are now
Right.
without
Yes.
having gone through that experience. So
Absolutely.
it's a
Yes.
powerful story, Inbal. Thank you for taking us on that journey with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's so excited for you in this new role that you have. I definitely want to open it up to questions from the audience, because that's why we're here, to chat with you.
Yes. Yeah.
Does anyone have a question?
Yes, I'm just wondering how your story of growth is incredible. I'm curious if there was any food journey along the way too, if you had any aha moments, if things have changed in what you create out of the kitchen.
From the beginning, as far as the techniques, or
Yeah, the techniques, the foods, the recipes.
yeah, many things evolved. I continue cooking the way I cook, which is gluten and dairy free and organic, using the high quality ingredients, because I do believe in that. This is how I eat all the food we cook at my kitchen. My family eats it as well. And so we're just getting better and better at I'm the kind of person who likes to follow the science. And so I read a lot of research about food, and we just evolve. at getting better and better at what we do. So we cook with filtered water, we use stainless steel pots, we use real salt, everything we make from scratch. I'm just becoming more experienced naturally. In the beginning, I was just cooking what I, knew to cook and some new recipes. But now we're adding more things and more options, just thinking about the clients and what they need. So I'm thinking about, so recently I just started doing things like, so we're doing fermentation. We've been doing fermentation the whole time, but we started adding different products like breakfast and snacks and things like that. So you always want to think about what your clients may need to fulfill that. If you're doing personal chefing, think about how you can make your clients' lives better, easier, because the clients, they come to you because they need the help, they need the relief. The moms, it's mostly moms for me, because they just are so busy and they really want to feed their kids the most healthiest food, and they don't know, they don't have the time. So I take it as my responsibility to make it easier for, make their life easier around food, because this is my profession, and this is what I'm good at, and this is what I can contribute to them. So
that's a great bit of marketing too, that your family also eats the food that you make.
yes, yes, yes. And you were asking me about marketing. I just recently started advertising because now I have more expenses. Now I need more clients naturally. So with growth comes, also more responsibilities. And so now I have more expenses, I need more clients. And so now I reached a capacity where I can get word of mouth clients. I think it's about 30 clients that you can get, by word of mouth. And I started advertising. And so now I'm waiting to see the fruits of that, and reaching more people. And yeah.
Are you doing like Instagram Reels? Are you doing email marketing? Like, are you doing all of it? And have you hired somebody, or are you dabbling?
Yeah, so we're doing we've tried social media advertising. We've tried we're doing a Google My Business, so Google Map. So that's where we advertise. You can advertise on both. I'm advertising right now on Edible, which is a magazine here in the Bay Area. It's a food magazine. So I'm advertising there. Like I said, to make money, you have to invest money. And right now I'm in a point where I really need to go all in, because I have a few families that I need to feed, including mine. And so I have to reach out and attract more clients. So just some ideas that I've been thinking about doing farmers market. So what I was trying to do is to get into farmers market, so I can put my name out there. But don't do my mistake, because I wanted to just have a booth, an informational booth, and I thought it was possible, and it's not possible. So you have to sell something. So I'm in the process of being approved to a farmer's market, and I'm gonna try to sell just dry goods, like things like kale chips, quinoa chips, the things granola that I'm making that I could sell. But I think this is a way to put myself out there. And so again, as a CEO, it depends where you want to take your company to. If you just want to do personal chef, or work for a rich personal chef client, a rich client that pays you well, it's great. You have no stress. The stress is limited. But if you want to do the other route, it's also great. It just depends, really. You have to really be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, where do you want to get with that? What is your 5 to 10 years goal? What's your vision for your company? Yeah.
Some really, really great advice. Is there any other questions for Inbal?
Is everyone, are they graduate? They're all graduates here?
No, we've got Judy and Pamela that are current students. I don't know. Some people are at work, so I don't know if you are able to turn your camera on and say hello. That would be lovely. If not, but we also have Angela is a graduate. You met Angela. Jen Tobin is the director of education for Bowman.
Okay. Yeah. I'm curious about your journey, Angela, after graduating.
Well, while I was attending Bowman, I was also working as a dietary manager, and I'm still the dietary manager. So I'm actually currently in the nutrition consultant program with Bowman. So that's where I'm at now.
Oh, exciting! You learned. So you did the culinary route first,
Yes.
and you're doing the nutrition.
Yes.
Interesting. So I'm very much. First of all, congratulations, and I'm interested in doing that too. I'm interested in going back to Bowman and getting more nutrition in. Yeah.
It's great.
We would love to have you come back. We would love to have you come back.
Thank you. It's gonna happen in the perfect timing. Yes. Yes. So Angela, are you planning on opening your business? Are you planning on cooking for other people? Like, what is your?
My plan is to actually teach. I would like to go into a dietitian's office or a health and wellness center and show people how to cook the foods that will benefit them with whatever illnesses or conditions that they have. So if the dietitian says that they need to, be on this diabetic diet, maybe I can show them how to cook some of the foods that to help them out with that. So that's my goal. I was going to ask you if you did any of the teachings, if you taught any of your clients.
Yes. So I offer cooking classes as well. Different clients all over the Bay, mostly people who really just want to learn how to cook healthy food.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thank you for bringing this up. But Michelle was asking me if I changed some of my ways of cooking, and I wanted to say that I recently found out that my sugar levels were a little high, and even though I realized that I'm eating really well, and it's still maybe it's a genetic thing for me, a disposition for me, then it just kind of helped me to kind of think about that, and also knowing that some of my clients are pre-diabetics as well, and so just offering different ways to teach my clients about how to eat well, or how to eat when you have sugar imbalances. Like mostly the fiber first, lots of fiber first, and then the protein and fat, and then the starches, things like that. So I'm always learning and educating my clients as well. So yeah, it's really about education. I think we are mostly in the education business, right? We try to teach people that food is medicine, and that they can heal themselves. Really, that's what.
Would you indulge us in describing some of your plates here? Like, should I go into your protein pack or your mix and match? Like, what?
Either way, these are the three options that I'm offering, the three packages. So I'm selling packages. You can click on that. For example, that's going to be the protein meal, and then these are the meal options. So next week, our menu changes weekly, and we change and seasonally as well. We repeat our menus every 2 to 3 months. For example, next week we have 5-spice braised beef with bok choy and sweet potatoes, wild salmon. So we only do wild caught fish, grass-fed and organic pasture-raised chicken. We're going to have roasted chicken, blood orange and fennel, chicken patties. A lot of people love chicken. So just so you know there, it's always the most sold item. And then if you scroll down, I offer extra protein to those who want some extras. And then I offer sides, asparagus with herb ranch sauce, quinoa fried rice, broccolini with watermelon, radish and green goddess, and red cabbage. So you see, it's like veggie forward.
Which is so hard to find in more bigger meal services. Like you think there's going to be asparagus when you get it, and it's like 3 stalks,
Right.
and you're like, hello.
Exactly. And so the way I created my menu, or the foundation of my menu, is a little different than what most companies are doing. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know, honestly. I just did what it felt right. And I separated into mains and sides and extras. So so every week we offer 3 mains, 3 sides, and 2 extras. The extras are, for example, we have granola, we do kale chips, fermentation, fermented vegetables, quinoa chips, frittata, and things like that. And then I have a section of a la carte items. This is really helping me to, it's helping the menu to be more accessible. So people who, let's say, want to eat more meat, but then they also want to try some of the vegetarian dishes, have the opportunity to do that. They can order the extras without having to order the whole package again. Yeah, so you see all the bottom, this line is like all the vegetarian dishes that we're offering for next week.
So this is a lot of options. So do you have to, do they have to order by a specific day so that you can then do your shop so you don't have your food waste? So what is the schedule like?
So for me personally, today's Thursday, they can order by midnight. And then I do the reports tomorrow, Friday. Friday, we are getting all the reports done. I order all the meat and everything I need, the veggies. And then we do more shopping on Sunday. There's always like extra things that we cannot get, delivered. And so my sous chef is doing the shopping on Sunday. And then Monday, we're starting prep, basically.
And then you'll deliver on?
We're delivering on Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
So we prep on Monday, cooking on Tuesday, and then delivering on Wednesday.
Wonderful. So thank you so much for sharing. Again, I'm going to stop sharing this beautiful website, but it is plentifulkitchen.com. Check it out yourself because it's, number one, it's gorgeous. Number two, you're going to just want to order everything, and you're going to need to move to San Francisco Bay Area so that you can experience the food.
Yes.
But are you open to externs, if our grads who are our students that are watching this, or if somebody wanted to stage with you, can they give you a call? Is that as a Bowman grad?
Yes, I've had a few of them joining my team, and we're happy to welcome any grads. I know commercial kitchen can be sometimes a little bit stressful or scary to some, but this is a really important part of this whole journey. If you're planning on opening up your own business or working in another kitchen, yes, it's important to get familiarized with everything in a commercial kitchen and how things, and so definitely, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, we're out of time for today, but we are wonderful having you once again, and we welcome you to come back and talk to our grads anytime.
Thank you. And if anyone has any other extra questions, they can reach out.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.